Welcome to my video on how to play the banjo in the claw hammer style. Actually, no. Thanks for joining, but this is a video of how I make romps. Nobody whatsoever has asked me about it, but it's kind of a preemptive thing. But anyway, so romps, for those who don't know, are the little magnets with the AVL logo that I paint and slap on random cars around the Asheville area. Start with a blank magnet sheet, and originally I was purchasing pre-cut oval magnets, but even in bulk of hundreds they were running 70 cents for $1 each. Nowadays I've been blessed by knowing the people at Henco North who let me have their magnet trimmings. Plug! Thanks guys. I'm starting with yellow, and frequently just have no idea what pattern or colors I'm going to use, being chaotic neutral in the D&D alignment. But in this case I do have a bit of a plan, because I'm throwing some pastel or light colors because the logo is going to be black, the main stencil. I kind of layer and get the ideas I feel, putting color and whatever pleases me at the time, and making sure it's random so that each romp will be unique. So that's a base of 3 colors plus the white, so I might throw some stencil patterns on there. I blank out the other side of the stencil then to prevent overspray onto the sheet. In this case I will be using a tint rather than spray paint in this way. A tint paint has more transparency and lets the background colors show through. You can kind of spritz a dithered spatter with spray paint using a delicate sort of pressing, but you usually have to spray it from farther away, so I have less control. I do that over the whole sheet, and so I'll speed it up so you don't have to sit through all that. Color it, move on, color it, move on, color it, blah blah blah. And now another pattern I just selected at random with a tint, a red tint, bigger circles, and just get the feel for it and spray whatever I feel like. I'll speed the back part of this up too, so you don't have to watch all that. I do some correcting and adding here and there, and maybe a little blue spray spritzing and black spritzing. And so here's a close-up of the final sheet, which is pretty random and pleasing to me. And I take it over to the workbench and let it dry overnight. Oh, I forgot to tell you that when spraying the original colors, I mostly let them dry in between, but sometimes mix and let colors merge while wet. But once the background is done, I typically let it dry for at least 12 hours. In this case, I have a particular size I want to do, so I measure it out and use my good friend, the paper cutter, to size it and keep it all square. Trying for a nice clean cut, which that isn't it. Sorry. Boing. I do different size magnet stickers because I don't always have full sheets to work with, and sometimes there's cuts where the trimming was done and even some odd shapes, but this was a pretty clean sheet overall. I use a pre-cut magnet blank that sticks to the back of the existing magnet. Yes, I see it, Zen. And then stops the edge at just the right height so that the cut is good, and make sure it's nice and even all the way across, and give it a clean cut this time. Again, thanks to Henco North for letting me have some of their trimmings. So, well, let's see what you're spraying there, Zen. The stencil is actually cut, thank you, out of plexiglass. I repeat spray so often that the paint builds up pretty thick, 1/4 inch thick, which makes the image smaller and not so defined. So every so often I need to let it dry and peel it off. I have a bunch of AVL stickers of various sizes and thicknesses. And make sure my big old head gets in the way, and there we go. Can't see what you're doing then. Cut it. And watch the fingers. Now the third one I have to be a little more careful to line it up well. It's harder because you can't see the holes, any of the sticker at all. But I'm not using the block for overspray, which kind of also holds it down. The third one I use a stick to press the stencil cleanly against the material like that. Pull that off, and now I've made 3 for each strip. Let's see them then. Turn it around. There you go. Now these I have to get good and dry for at least 48 hours so they don't stick together when I stack them up. Inside, I'm going to bring them into my office and sign them and cut the edges. I use a Montana marker because the tips last much longer than a Sharpie, and the signature actually lasts longer with their ink. Sharpie tends to kind of turn purple and then fade away. Nice messy office. And then I cut off the corners. I've found that when the corners are square, there's a chance that it can curl up a bit and let dirt get underneath and against the car, so I've been cutting just the corner tips enough to prevent that and to give it a bit of shape. And keep it kind of oval in a way. And there you are, a romp. Thanks so much for watching.